A new Warhammer 40k rumor for the Amazon Prime Video or Amazon MGM Studios' upcoming movie or television show indicates that the project could be shelved if they do not hit their writing deadlines. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. Wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com, and this rumor comes from fellow YouTuber Arch over at the Archcast channel. This is what he says. Right now, the agreement in principle between Games Workshop and Amazon appears to be in effect. This means that a team at Amazon, a team of writers, is right now trying to write out a story that is going to be turned into the Warhammer 40k television show. They have, I believe, a few more months on this deadline for this project, and they have to hand it in, and then it either has to be greenlit or they have to have their writing date further postponed in the hope that they can produce something better further down the line, or the entire project will be shelved. So it sounds like they're working on a pilot episode for a television show. Studios will take a look at it, greenlight it, and then maybe move forward with production. But he does add this here. Those are the three opportunities. Either they'll have a project they'll go ahead with, they'll shelve the whole thing, or they will extend the deadline to try and get a decent product going. In other words, nothing is finalized yet. Absolutely nothing. There isn't even any money for the project allocated. As far as my insider can tell on Amazon's behalf, no writing staff has been truly hired. No money has been truly allocated. No plans have been truly made. So again, sounds like they are working on a pilot episode, getting that pilot put together, and then maybe pitching that to Amazon and seeing if they like the pilot. We've seen this before. Obviously, probably the most famous stuff is with HBO. They put together a bunch of pilots. They scrapped the one project, then they obviously did indeed approve House of the Dragon and go forward with that. So that's kind of maybe how this sounds like it is indeed working. We do know that there is a significant deal in place between Games Workshop and Prime Video and Amazon MGM Studios. This is what Games Workshop posted in a blog post in the middle of December 2023. The company said this: back in December last year, we announced Games Workshop and Amazon Studios had signed an agreement in principle to work together to bring the Warhammer 40k universe to screens, big and small. Well, today we have an update, and it's one we've all been longing to hear. We've now signed the full agreement, and the next stage can begin. So obviously, the agreement there is obviously to bring more than just one project to the front. They're looking at both movies and television shows. So it's unclear if what Arch is talking about here, it sounds like it's just one single project. So there could be multiple projects actually in the works, and he just has information here for one television project. We also had this from Games Workshop as we continue that blog post that they posted in December. The company said, all we can tell you right now is that an elite band of screenwriters, each with their own particular passion for Warhammer, is being assembled to help bring the setting and characters you love to the screen. This illustrious group will be championed by Henry Cavill, who stands ready to take his place as executive producer, bringing his pen, sword, and or spear to the project, obviously implying that Cavill will indeed be acting in one of these projects in a prominent role. As for when the first project might arrive, this is what the company said. TV and film production is a mammoth undertaking. It's not unusual for projects to take 2 to 3 years from this point before something arrives on screen. Still, things are now properly rolling, and you can bet we'll bring you all the latest updates and cool snippets as soon as we're able. So we've also had some updates from Henry Cavill. Obviously, this is the post where he announced that he was joining Warhammer and taking it over in December 2022, shortly after he announced he would now be returning to Superman in James Gunn's. It was then Superman Legacy. I guess they're just calling it Superman now. But he did an appearance on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast where he said this: it is the greatest privilege. This was in February while he was promoting Argyle. He said, it is the greatest privilege of my professional career to have this opportunity. I can't say too much. Again, it's early days still, but to have this opportunity to bring it to the screen and be at the tiller so it can be faithful is key. So obviously, Henry Cavill signaling that he wants what all the Warhammer projects he's working on to be faithful to the lore of Warhammer 40k. Obviously, that could be a little bit problematic because we know that Games Workshop it plays loose and fast with their lore. Obviously, just saw that, and they're willing to gaslight people and lie to people about the lore as well. Just saw that with the female Adeptus Custodes, adding them in the recent Adeptus Custodes Codex, and then claiming that there were always female Adeptus Custodes, despite numerous lore books in the past, going back to the late 1980s, indicating that there were only men in the Adeptus Custodes. So they obviously had no problems lying to their hobbyists and enthusiasts in order to justify their retconning the lore. So hard to be faithful when the lore seems to be able to be changed at the drop of a hat or at someone's whim at Games Workshop. Nevertheless, Cavill continues saying, "This is the stuff I've been dealing with since I was a kid. This is the stuff I spend my free time daydreaming about as an adult as well, and I get to bring it into life. And there's no greater reason than to join the industry than doing something like this. And I'm very happy to be here." He also team up with director Matthew Vaughn about potentially joining Warhammer as well. When Josh Horowitz, asked this, he said, "Have you tried to get Matthew into Warhammer or gaming at all?" And Cavill responded, "No, not yet." And then Vaughn retorted, "Gaming? I love gaming. What do you mean gaming at all?" But we've spoken. And then Cavill said, "Yes, yeah." And then Vaughn continued saying, "Yeah, listen, I said I'd work with Henry in lots of different ways." And Cavill concluded with a grin, "Yeah, watch this space." So obviously teasing that Matthew Vaughn might be part of this team putting together a Warhammer movie or television series. Cavill also told Collider, "Warhammer is progressing very well. Big things are happening, and we are very excited." So that's all the official stuff. Seems to be going well. Obviously, this rumor indicates that there could be possibility of this television show getting scrapped. I'm not too worried about it, given the fact that I do think this is how television productions used to work, and they seem to be getting back to that after the new writers strike and the deal that they came with the Writers Guild of America. Same with the SAG-AFTRA strike and the deal that they struck with them. Mainly, obviously, the writer's strike, because they're the ones actually writing this stuff. Getting back to doing pilot episodes, looking at those pilot episodes, seeing if the pilot has potential, and then greenlighting it or not. And that looks like that is indeed kind of maybe something that is happening here. And maybe they're doing it before they even get to actually filming a pilot, and they're just kind of looking at the script to see if the script is indeed any good before they even maybe greenlight them doing a pilot. So we'll see that. And it looks like, again, they do have multiple projects in the works. I wouldn't be surprised if there are multiple television show projects in the works. We know that was the case with Rings of Power. They eventually chose, what were their names? I don't know, J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay. Absolutely horrible choices, given the fact of what we know now. But so there could be different people at play, working on different scripts for different television shows, different movies. Obviously, are seemingly just talking about one right here. But let me know what you guys make of this. What do you make of what Arch is sharing here? Are you optimistic about what he's saying? Is this bad news for you? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, but to always speak the truth.